It's all good. what, what was that? Oh. Oh, is that the good side or the better side? I thought it was make my day. Okay. So you want to do it again? Yeah. Okay, let's do the good, the bad, and the not so. Yeah, yeah. Sliding step. Hop. Boom. 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 Oh. Okay. Oh yeah. Which one? Okay, you're doing the chin. Elbow. Dropping palm. Punch. Elbow. Strike down. Back fist. Can't fool. You can't fool old dogs with new tricks. Okay, other way. Going back, right? Sliding step punch. So we know the terms for that chun kiao, right? Chun kiao. Let's go. Chun kiao. Din ma is sliding step. Punch. Yeah. Yeah. There's the Yin Jiang, Lao Jiang back fist. So actually, in the last class we did the same drills, and one of the things that I brought up was, especially newer students would do the same old drills, and sometimes you feel you're not progressing. And one of the things is that the same old drills is because we're creatures of habit. We have to do them over and over again until our body really recognizes where the power comes from and how to generate the power. So one of the things that a lot of people, when they first take up martial arts, they're pretty fascinated with certain aspects, and one of it is power. Where do you get power from, and how do you use these movements? So basic movements like this, they're all tied together in the form, but how do we improve the form? We have to take out the postures. It's called single form training. So for single form training is taking what he just did, the chun kiao, the punch, and then this is in the forms. This is the dropping palm, and this is the back fist. So we know what those are, but do we know how the body should be working with it to coordinate the movement, and what the summation of components actually means? We know summation of components is you take a bunch of things and you add them together. That's a summation, and you get a result. That's typically what you would do. But in the body, what is those summation of components? When you chun kiao, right? In application, we see a punch coming at us. What do? We have to respond. So we intercept it. Now, how do we move it over there? So a physical thing would block it like this and then do that. That's a physical thing. When we're here and we turn the body like this, like a chun kiao, that's called reverse lai mao, right? So you draw the hand. So the action between this and this, because I open my chest, creates the lateral movement. So the effectiveness of that motion comes from the transition, not from the posture. This is your posture. It's actually just the final position. Your goal is to be here, but how do you get there? That's a transition. So the action, if I just do this, is not enough, because my hand is here and I'm tense, but it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to move his arm. So the only way to move his arm is to transition from here to here. Now if I did this, when do I punch? I punch after I block the hand, right? But isn't this broken and slow? So what we're doing, once you integrate the body, is that we drew back and punched, so we eliminated some time. That makes it appear to be faster. So that's the efficiency of the motion. And then once you're here, where's the power come from? It comes from the twist of the body. So part of the summation of components is the twist in the stance, the twist in the torso, and the extension in the arm. Right? So in the extension of the arm, you have a twist, you have a momentum from the leg turning, and then you have the strength in your arm as you extend it, right? So that becomes a summation of those components. So we can actually block and then just stand there and do a pretty good punch. But that's an isolated move. We don't want to work like that. We want to build body beyond that. So we don't want to overwork this arm by punching too hard with this hand. We want to use the momentum from the stance. So there's a forward direction and an acceleration there. So the faster you slide forward, that's your dinma, your sliding step, and the faster your hand will come out, provided your hand is following the twist of the body, or the body's leading you in there, right? So your block is here, your sliding step is there, and your twist is there, and that creates the action. So the power in the movement comes from the turn. You don't really need to put so much force in this part of the body, but if you did, you would actually add to the power in that movement if it's timed, right? And once it's timed, then the energy will come to here. That's your end goal. So that's what we have to do as a basic fundamental. But then after you do that, and you reach behind, what do you have to do here? The next technique is this. So the sliding step is the momentum forward. The elbow time with that is really an alignment of this body to this tip of here, and the twist of your back. So if you don't have the twist, because now you don't see the twist initially because we're just doing that. So doing that is almost like doing that. That's isolated, that's isolated. So the momentum of the elbow comes from this. But because I'm here and I'm twisted, I'm here. So really, there's a lot more going on there between here, here, and here that allows the power to go there. Yeah. That wasn't. That was just. That was. But we. So that's what that is, right? So the sliding step is this. The punch is here, but there's one more thing that I didn't mention in the back. The reverse punch is that when you're sliding step and you're turning, you have one more component here that brings your weight to that front leg. So if this was 50-50, say, and I transition weight, you have force going into here from here. Now if your knee doesn't go over that toe, then you lost a piece of that. So it's important that your knees go like that. So that's the final position. So the final position is learned when we finish it. The final position is learned when we finish it. The final position is learned when we finish. That's your posture. The transition is in there and then there. So the fact that we have this is also momentum and a force by the fact that when I come to here and I push forward, it's going to come forward and it's going to be force. I didn't want to crash into his leg, but your hand is there. It can go forward or it can actually turn like that. So there's weight transfer to the front. It's not only momentum, but that. This actually creates a force downward in direction because gravity, as little as that is it adds to all of it. So then after you do the elbow, we drop. So that's called a dropping palm or a lao jiang. The power from the drop is because we're here, is here, and then here. So if you look in the mirror, the body's here, the line of movement is here. It has to be in front of the body because that's the natural direction of our body as far as how the joint is going to allow you to create that. So if you don't free fall from here, you can't create power here. So the free fall is sinking the elbow and sinking the body and dropping. So as your body folds from here, that already created an acceleration. The downside of this is here. This is the downside. So while the waist is twisting like this, our waist is twisting like this. So you see how your waist is always small. So hand, eye, body, waist, and stance is part of that. So when we're here, then we go to here. So this is up to vertical, and then this is down. So this is where we lose a lot of power in that transition, because from here to here becomes down, and this is free fall, sinking, and coming down. So you add another component of force from here. That's because we went from here and we went up. What do we do when we went up? We created vertical to horizontal, and that's a covering of the body. The force of the movement is really from here to here to here. You see, so that piece is the timing in the end of the movement. So when we're here, you have to drop. When you're here, you have to drop. So which side is going to be better? Your right side is going to be better most of the time, but your left side is going to have trouble because the wiring in the motion isn't developed. So it's always going to be less coordinated and less precise. So how precise is it? It's really where your alignment of body is. So that's why when we go through the motions over and over again, we're supposed to be picking up on those misalignments, and then eventually your body will start to understand it. But if every time you do it, it's going to be slightly off, and your brain thinks, well, that's correct. It hasn't figured out which one's the correct one yet. So you have to bring in these concepts. Once you bring in the concepts, then you have to a true, understanding of, where the force is coming from. So if I were to pick and choose a person doing it, then I would be able to kind of, point out some of those mistakes. But the thing is, nobody wants to be pointed out, so we might as well just do the drills. A droppy pump. Yeah. So Rob just asked a question. When you say, okay, you ask the question. Okay, so was he correct in that sort of analysis, or what is that dropping correct? Is that dropping correct? Is that dropping? Is that dropping correct? What? Yeah, but why? Why? Anybody? So we look at that body form, and we criticize, to be critical in the sort of the body mechanics. What's missing right there? That's the rounding. Or okay, so how about this? When your body's here, right? My body's here. Don't my arms swing like this, right? So what you're doing is putting your body in a position that allows you to swing like this. So if you elbow, right? If I elbow and I drop, I want to be like this. And then when I come back, I want to be like this. You see what I mean? So what's missing is that should you round? No, you should drop. Because your drop puts your body in the plane of movement that allows you to do this. So this is what we talk about when we talk about spatial awareness. Where your body is in a plane of motion is allowing you to create a motion that's compatible with your anatomy or the way the joint is moved. Now we can do this. We can do this, right? So when we go down, we do this. So we use it's not right here to do that. It's kind of using that momentum and then turning. So when you do that, your body will actually go like that. So I'm not really using a lot of arm. I'm using this. And that's about as far as it goes. So you don't really use so much physical arm force, yeah? Yeah. The role that has to play is because your body is connected as a unit. So you don't need to do anything. You just have to follow it. When you're in here, when you drop, the hand is actually a point of releasing the power. So the movement is here. The movement is here. So what you're doing with the movement is that it's following. Because if we both did this movement, this is called a dropping palm, right? So we do back fist first. We do a dropping palm. That's the dropping palm. But my hand is here defensively, but it's not doing anything other than it's a passive action. So I'm here, I'm here. Now why is it here? Because it has to be there as a position, because if something were to come here, this is here to respond to it. Now we did another back fist, the hands go there, right? And we do it again. So there's expansion, there's contraction. The way you were doing it, boom, 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 boom. Your hands know where they're going. So you're building a relationship in patterns. Because when you do this, when the hand comes like this hand is there. If he were to respond, right, this hand is still there. If I needed to use that. But actually I'm here, and it comes here as a motion. If we both went like this and we elbowed, it would be like this, you see. So that actually is called using the same image to defend against the image. That happens in a lot of our forms. So every form, if I did this and he did this and we both stroke, we would use the same movement. If we both did this, if he struck down, it would be this, see, and then it repeats. So why do I have this hand here? To protect here. When I go up, this is here. So that's positioning. If he punched to the chest, my hand can do there, or I can come back again. So they're reversible. Movements are reversible in application. So they lead back and forth. You know, all the forms are typically like that. Grasser sparrow's tail followed by single whip, right? Single whip can lead. So when we're here, diagonal strike leads to this. This leads to this. So diagonal strike, we think about, why are we here? Or diagonal strike is horse stance is here. Why do we have two positions for that? Because distance-wise, if he did a hook on this side, I would be here. So that's okay, right? If I punch, if he throws a punch, okay, and he punches here, I'm here. Because, do that again, right? I can't step up to do that unless I want to strike him. But a defensive motion would be have to maneuver. So if I chun kill and I maneuver from here, I have to twist my stance. Okay, and then if I go up, that's where the movement turns to that. So the footwork becomes important. So this is a twist stance. This is a stepping forward. That's a coming forward, and then there's a return. Now, why don't I return like this? Because I'm here. If I return like this, I'm actually out of position or too far away. So that's kind of an understanding you develop from your movements, because you develop a perception of space. So that idea of this, and this is really setting up your torso. So with each action. So if you just try that again, now you have a better understanding of how to get that power. Let's see if we can get that to happen. Ready? Yeah. You gotta loose, right? Let it go. Loose. Yeah. Just let it go. If you go like this, if your shoulder goes higher than this, you already lost power. It's like the law of diminishing returns. It's not an economic law, but actually it happens in here too. The higher you go, you'll start to lose your position, you lose power. So you really can't, go beyond the limits of your basic structure, your shoulder. When you do the back fist, sink the elbow and relax the shoulder. So this and this has to go together. So 1, 2. So how do you practice that? Back and forth. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So the pattern 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, wait a second. Okay, now 1 slowly. 1, 2, 1. Make a fist. 2. Abbreviated movement, right? Fuller movement. More dimensional change, right? 1, 2, 1, 2. You need the fuller movement to create the motion, because you're doing form. You want the movement to create the correct action in motion as your standard. Then when someone grabs your wrist, then you don't need to actually, your body's already timed for that. So whatever your reaction is, it's that. But you need this, because it's like your stances. You go low, then you can go high. If you're high, doesn't mean you can go low. So when we work our legs, you want to work the 3 different ranges of stances. Just like if you're here, you want the full range of that action, so you have a completeness in the space that you're dealing with. If you look at the space, you're really here. So if we're here, if we grab my hand, if I go to here, there's my space. So I have this space, and I have this space. It's really transitional through the dimensional changes. 1, 2, 3. Because now my body knows this. If my hand is here, I'm here. I went through my middle. I went through the corner. I went through the front. And then it takes you through all those spaces. Now your body's familiar with, the total space. So that's why it does take some, analytical skills here. So you have to do that. And then don't stay here. You have to lift and then lift. So here's the thing. 1, 2, lift. So my hand doesn't have to lift because I went up here, right? Right, again, yeah. 1, 2, oh, slow it down, 1, 2, little here in order to get a little there. A little here allows a little there. Only to the extent that it goes past, so that it doesn't stay down here. So going up is not necessarily wrong. Yeah, it does. It comes up with the lift, because as you lift your body, that goes up. When you turn to here, it goes down, and then this has to cover. See, so it got better in the last 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah. That was,
Imagine you spent 20 minutes on it.
if I spent a little bit more, it'd be just a little bit better.
Whew. So okay. So Lawrence's elbow. Okay. No, do that elbow again. So this should be back like that. So when it's here, your shoulder is not actually in the right position. Now you feel that.
Yep.
When it was here. Right.
Yeah, it's stronger. This way.
Yeah, because here, when you go there, it's in your leg.
To the left.
If it's here, it's not there. This might be feel strong because you tense, but it's actually not stable, right?
Yeah, pushing me this way.
Yeah. So that's the alignment.
Wow. You were able to see that? But this movement of the arm,
Yeah.
clearing,
Yeah.
does it have any, it just does that?
It just folds. So you're here, right? Boom. Boom. So you fold like that. So your hand is coming like this. Yeah. Yeah. So this should be like that. This is not good. Yeah.
So straight.
Should be, yeah, or a little bit like that. Just align, because once it does that, it's not good. Once it bends down, it's not good. So you find that. So that's like the neutral alignment.
As long as you're back.
Yeah. So when you lean, okay, you drop, but then your weight, your no, here should be here. No, this. No, you see, you're like this. So you lost power here. It has to be here. So you want to go in this direction, because now I have actually more weight here, and that's where the momentum came from. So your momentum comes from when I come from here. See, you can feel the momentum here. So your body actually is shifting. It's small, but there is something there. Because if we're using the summation of components, you need all the components to be part of that summation. Otherwise, you're missing one. A lot of times you do it, it's going to be missing one, but that's okay because you're trying to add that additional one. So I'm just pointing out that we need to keep it in mind that it doesn't stop evolving. You have to evolve with the idea that if you're going to summate those components, that it has to be there so that we have the idea of what we're doing in the motion. And as you transition through, they're all common positions. So same with when we're here and we step, we strike, and we lift. Where's the diagonal strike power come from? It comes from the sink and the turn. So when I'm here, I'm setting up, my elbow is like this, my elbow becomes this, it slices over like this, then it lifts up like this, and it turns. So the free fall of the movement comes from here. But the point that it focuses on, where the power is to be released, is there. Not here, not there. It's here. There. Because this is my width, right? So that's optimum. If I go outside of this shoulder, then I actually lost my position. It diminished. So if his hand is here, just say, make a fist, right? If I strike down and my focus point is there, that's where the power is, over there. But my focus should be here. And then when it comes down, it would strike down or deflect. If it's here, it actually intercepts here. So why here? Because this is your forearm, the bone is hard. You can strike anywhere there to deflect it, but the connective tissue and the ligaments are here. So that's where you want to hit. You want to strike right here. If you have the hand here, it goes right there. And then that kind of yeah. So, but that's a target. But the thing is, because this movement is here and to there, it's automatically going there. Doesn't matter what size the person is, it's always going to be right there. But it's because my strike has been practicing like that. So on the way down, you intercept depending on where the hand is. it just goes right there. See? So you just go right into that point, right? There.
That's even more that way.
Yeah, because, yeah,
That's really almost over here.
it is there, because here's your space. 1, 2. Right. So your body actually knows this once it realizes the best position. It figures it out, you know. It's just, no matter where you come from, it's going to be right there. That's what muscle memory is. Yeah. Relax shoulder. Go. Boom. Go up. Yeah. Go. Come again. Do something zero. After 1, 2. This is too high. Too high. Yeah. Relax this one. This guy, the left shoulder is always uptight.
Do the right one.
No, left leg you have control. The left leg is uptight and no control. But, you know, this is not so much rank specific. It's individual body adaptation, sort of. So, but it's interesting because we've been doing it a while, but yet there's so much to learn from a simple thing like that, right? You know, how do you adjust those? It's a side of the martial arts learning in the traditional side that's always lost. It's always missing because it's a strategy that the old masters had that, you know, wasn't able to be transmitted correctly all the time. Because the physical side of movement is always going to be there. It's that other side of it that people find mysterious. It's sort of, you know, the mystical side of, you know, how the traditional arts. How do these old masters seem to be powerful? And it's really not because they're old. You know, they're not any stronger than someone, you know, say they're half their age. They can't be stronger than someone half their age. You know, just physically not possible. But the thing is, their skill level is superior. So it makes them equal, or even more than equal, because the person that's stronger really doesn't have the skill to deal with the forces that change. So someone very strong can adapt as well. So that's kind of what happens. Well, here I lift, here I sing, but I'm really, it's not a lot. I don't round over. If I rounded over, I actually took away from the strike because my energy went into that motion. But in the natural course of things, my body actually is closed. So there is a little bit of here, but only enough to sort of complement this. So your body is always working as complement each other in action.
I was twisting this way instead of stopping here.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to see.
yeah. So here. Now if I turn like this, I'm in a horse stance like this,
Yeah.
right? So every posture has muscle memory. Everyone is unique. So that's why when you go through the process of developing this muscle memory, it's not just memorizing that. It's memorizing every one of these positions all the way down to the soles of your feet throughout your whole body, where all those positions are. And that's what's learned over time. They're all song gung sius. They're all diagonal strikes. They're all diagonal strikes. But shows up in different postures as form. Now here, this diagonal strike is actually here. This crosses bar in fuhak, it does cross to this knee. This one comes to this knee. This one comes to here. Now if I reverse my stance, there's no difference between this hand and this hand.
What's the one on
This one, the fu hawk, when we're in the corner. You know, when we turn, when we come back, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one is across the body, but you're facing frontal position. So from here to here, to here, to here, to here. So it's 1, 2, 3, like a Z. Yeah. So, but this one, because say we're in a horse stance and he punches here, my hand crosses like this, so there's a turn. Now, when I'm here, it doesn't cross, so the interception at this point is different from this. Because if I did it here, then I would be over there. So what are we dealing with? We're dealing with this, right? The space between here and there. So that's what a posture is different, because you're dealing with a different space and you're dealing, you know. So that's why when we're doing this, we have to memorize that, and where that power point is, where this power point is, and how this hand comes to here. So here, right? When you step this, right? When I'm here. So that's why the joints have to be relaxed. If you don't release the tension in the joints, it's conflicted, and it creates, well, anything in conflict creates, a problem here. So you have to fix it. So this is your computer. There's a conflict, so you have to go and sort that out. So you really have to understand that side of it. So as simple as this punch is, as simple as those are actually the building blocks to where we're moving. And over time, it really, really would be much better for your practice. So the free fall stuff, actually I was working with Sarah on free falling on her sword. That's going to add tremendous power to her. So anyways, free fall, gravity is really important. I don't know how this stuff would work in the moon, but we're here, so we have to capitalize on it. What's that? Yeah. It'll be all physical. But the thing is, okay, that's enough of that. Okay, so let's get back into a form. Let's do a form. Did the drills, we did all that, so just pick the form that has all that stuff in it. Oh, that would be all of them. Okay. Oh, Peter, want to pick a form? No. Fu hawk, okay. You want to bring Sarah in? Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, I'll get her. Are you going to Baltimore? Maybe. Lawrence is going and Sarah's going, and then Rose is going. So there's 3 competitors.
If I go, I'll stay with my dad.
Yeah. Oh, and Max is going too, yeah. That's good. All right, so Sarah, you want to do fu hawk with the group? Just a standard, yeah, the whole form, yeah. You can stand in the middle. Okay. Okay. Nice and slow. Okay, ready? Go. Okay, let's do that again. Just okay, ready? 1, 2. Not that. It's here. So you feel this pressed out, right? This strength there. Thing there, yeah. Okay. All right, go. Go. Keep going. Yeah, they're following you. Nice and slow. Okay, deep breathing. So again, one more. So basically, we talk about summation of components. So, when you're on this journey of trying to improve your form, all the things that we talk about has to come into play as part of something that you're constantly conscious of, or constantly at least aware of. So when we open the form, we know we do this, we do this, this, and salute. 1, 2, 3. So the most important part of the joining of the movements is when the hands and legs work together. So if you come to a position like this, and that's how basic we learn, when you move, you have to turn. So there we just did a summation of components. Boom. Now we step up, and then here. Now the step up was to set you up so that when you go here, and you're here, you're still in position, and then you accelerate. Then you step back, and you have to end your hands with your legs. Now here, start from your back, and come down. Turn to here, cut like this, and then push. So nothing is actually just working on this, because you can only put so much strength in your arm to make it look like it's strong. You have to generate the movement from the body as if it's totally involved. So this is something that you should be aware of, so kind of focus on that, regardless of who it is in the class. If you're competing, keep this kind of stuff in mind, right? So when you push, when you lift and you sink, the lift is up, the sink is down, right? The lift is because we're not moving our legs, and we're not kind of bouncing up and down. We're lifting, so the back has to lift. The sink has to come here, so your breath comes here. But don't sink and round. Sink here. There is a slight, you see the body move slightly? That's all it is. And then you go out, in, out, turn. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. So don't be afraid to make a full arc there, and then make your fists. And then you're going to do your 2 punches, and then you step. You sink first. So if you're being judge or you're there, as soon as you sink, that kind of brought some attention to your judge, right? Whoom. You want the power to come from here. Now you have strength in position, elbow. Now you want to drive this hand down. So have some strength in that, and then 1, 2, and then set up your hand. Then push. Push. Every time you push, get your breath to come down here, right? This is where your energy should be. Then you elbow up. 1, strike. 2, thrust. Sink. Fix your fingers. 1, like wind it up, come back to center, and push. Wind it up, come back to center, and push. Now lift and round first. Lift and straighten the back. Round, right? Lift. Sink the elbow. Pull. Pull. Grab the floor with your toes. Pull. Right? Thrust. Sink. Curl. 1. Set up like this. Now it's stored up energy. Boom. Or if you go to the left, boom. 1, 2. Store it up. Boom. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's all you're doing in the form, because you only have 2 minutes. Then put the intensity into that piece. When you're here, lift. Right? Lift, scoop, lift, grab, thrust, sink. Then you're here. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. So there's spirit and life in them, but the spirit and the position comes from the expansion and contraction of this. So in the advanced division, you want to do that. Focus on those kind of things, those little actions. the lifting of your back. I mean, you probably did a lot of that in gymnastics. But here, it's the same body form, but you have to include it and time it with lifting is up, sinking is down. Everything is like that. Anytime you go up, anytime you go down, like that. So include that till your body responds. You have to do that for the next month. Everywhere you go. No, that's exaggerating, but you have to, every time you do your form, this is down and up, but this is right and left. And then this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Because you're here, then you're here. You have to create strength in all those directions. There's strength here, there's strength here, there's strength here. 1, 2. But it's not dead strength, it's live. So that will help. And then water punch. Eye level. Doesn't go up like that. And the reason is because when you sink here and you go up, you don't have to put a whole lot of, do it again. Yeah. You don't need a lot of strength in the arm. Get it from there. Because when you sink, this is where your back did this. You transition to here and then just lift your back. The power is going to be enough. As soon as you lift your back, the force is going to be there. That way you don't waste too much energy in your arms and they'll be exhausted halfway through the form. So just sink, lift. You should have a snap. And then if you're here, snap, snap, snap. And then, yeah. So just, because both sides are working up and down like this, you have to set up your body so that you're going there. So halfway through the transition, you're square. The finishing position, you twist. Don't stop it here, because your alignment's going to be off. So the backhand, if you don't turn, is going to be over there. So you just have to pay attention to that. It will make the lines much better and more natural strength. So that's, I think everyone got something out of that. Yeah, see, even Kim, do that again. Sink. Yeah, but don't lift your head too much. Stay forward. Yeah. See. Okay, that's it. Stay tuned. Thursday. No. Okay, ready? Okay, that's it.